now we're going to give Mr. Jonathan Hunt another opportunity. Thanks, Jonathan. I understand you asked for about 10 minutes.
Mr. Chairman and members of the board, thank you for providing me the opportunity to address you again. At our last meeting, I addressed the current contract dispute between TriMet and the union. I again urge you to follow the law and let the arbitration be carried out. The unilateral implementation of the contract changes must be rescinded if the parties are going to ever reach an agreement in this dispute. As I said last time, it is only going to get worse and further destroy any relationship that may exist between the parties if TriMet continues to violate the law. That having been said, there are other issues that are equally important and is not receiving the necessary attention. The first is about safety. TriMet created a task force purporting to investigate an issue of public concern. Once again, task force product is flawed, resulting in a spoon-fed and withheld information. Former General Manager Tom Walsh made a good faith attempt to chair a TriMet task force on safety. Unfortunately, his efforts were doomed to produce a just released October 10th report that whitewashes and fails to disclose the real safety problems at TriMet.
Yeah.
Right on. Thank you.
Part of the problem is that the current general manager, Neil McFarland, failed to involve the union representatives.
Yeah.
But it is worse than that. Walsh's group did not hear from employee members of safety committees and did not hear from operators who have been raising safety concerns. So what safety problems was spoon-fed to the task force, not told about? That the windshield pillar problem that is causing gilly buses to mow down pedestrians when turning left. TriMet has known about this problem for over 3 years.
Yep.
Its own accident tracking documents show greater numbers of pedestrian hits and fatalities by these buses. Was the task force told about the Type 2 cars that are severely shocking our operators? What the public doesn't know is that these shocks are severe enough to kill an operator on the job,
50,000 votes.
endangering both TriMet riders and the public.
Yep.
That despite being told of the problems many months ago, TriMet controllers are still struggling with the fact that there is a critical blackout zone near Portland State. What this means is that they cannot tell if a trolley is going to collide with a light rail vehicle.
Yep.
Was the task force told that the new Type 4 trains are being driven blind because of the combination of the defective LCD monitors, frequently failing camera coverage, and structural obstructions? When this problem was recently raised, TriMet responded with a lawyered up verbiage, rather explaining how this very real danger to TriMet riders and the public will be fixed. Mr. Walsh's task force emphasized the importance of stepping up operator involvement in safety.
Amen.
What his task force was not told was that motoring drum handles are injuring operators so they can either lose work time for surgeries or driving in a distracted of pain.
Carpal tunnel.
The detailing of these missing facts is not meant to criticize Tom Walsh's efforts. He was probably the most balanced and workforce fair general manager ever to serve this agency. It's simply a matter of fluff in and fluff out. TriMet continues to use the ploy of focusing public and media attention on the frosting covering that tops a cardboard cake. How long is the public going to allow the wasting of public money on useless task force reports and consultants while never fixing the real life problems?
Best job they ever had.
Now, another issue that is indirectly related to the current contract dispute. An operator makes over $100,000 a year, so how can he complain about paying for health
Can't
insurance?
even get a date.
This is a claim reported by a reporter in a recent Oregonian article. For the last year, unionized TriMet workers have been the blunt of attacks over their health insurance,
Yes.
and TriMet has done nothing but encourage it.
Yes.
TriMet workers long recognized the importance of health insurance and health care because of the jobs do cause major health insurance issues in later years of their life. Instead of bargaining higher wages, they bargain for better benefits. Has TriMet ever publicly acknowledged this? No. Instead, TriMet joins in the bandwagon, claiming medical costs are too high and that workers should now pay for them. Let's give the workers the pay increases others have attained over the past many years. The TriMet workers didn't receive. And maybe we'll now be more receptive to the demand that we now have to give up our health insurance benefits. And now it's not the first time we've heard the claims of bus operators made over $100,000 last year. Oh my God! How can a bus driver complain, again, about his health insurance? Of course, TriMet didn't counter the claim by acknowledging that they haven't filled any open driver's positions in the past year. TriMet didn't acknowledge that in order to get service out on the streets, that they've relied on our transit workers volunteering to work overtime.
Yes.
TriMet didn't acknowledge that for a bus operator to earn $100,000 a year,
They have to break out.
that he or she would have to work an average of over 70 hours a week.
Breaking hours of service.
It is time that TriMet start defending its employees and their hard work and dedication. It's time they provide the citizens of this region every day and quit throwing them under the bus every time we come under attack for doing our jobs.
Yep.
And also the $100,000 a week, I was going to go get a job as a bus driver, a year. I'd like to make that money, but I understand what you're saying. And that's a result of those cuts in services, and we'd like to see them restored as soon as it financially is able. I mean, that we get on a better footing.
We're here for it, so we're.
Thank you,
This
John.
is our.
Thank you. Mr. Larenbach,
Yeah.
you know, our collective bargaining agreement, one of the first couple of pages speaks to safety. And it's collectively both sides on safety.
Absolutely.
So when a task force is met, and I had a personal conversation with Neil on it, my specific issue was, hey, absolutely bring anybody in, but have our people, have our boots to the ground, that information. How does a task force identify all the issues if they leave out the most important representative of it for our membership to speak as one? It just goes to show you how far apart we're on the issues. When communications break down, when we don't listen to our groups, we used to have a safety committee at each and every shop, at each and every garage. Now, it's a rotating from one garage to the next. We hope it's on the day that you can get off. It doesn't connect the dots. It doesn't get the information forward. Those issues that I brought forward to you are extremely important, and they have not been addressed. They have been shoved under the carpet. Not one single conversation from TriMet has come to me on safety-related issues on these matters. Not one. We have, and unfortunately, it's an ongoing issue. You want to have a partnership, but you don't bring us to the table. You want to have good faith bargaining, but you continue to break the law. And Mr. Chairman, I would like to have the minutes amended under my report, if you're following along on page 2. It emphasizes, I'll just go to the last sentence, that Mr. Hunt urged the board to instruct staff to continue to work forward to a resolution. What I stated, and I would like the record to reflect, that I urge the board to direct TriMet to quit breaking the law. Because that is what is taking place. We understand the difficulties of a budget. This is not our first trip to the rodeo. And under 23 collective bargaining agreements, with many different personalities and conversations and budgets, we are able to maintain and move forward and get a peaceful resolution. But for some reason, we have now bad legal advice. It was the same, by the way, under Fred Hanson's leadership, that we got those wage increases, that we maintained our health insurance. What do you think the reason is? Because that is the law. That's the way it's been interpreted, and it's continued to move forward. Our contract speaks to it. It has for over 35 years. How do we sit down in good faith with this over our heads? How do we tell our operators, don't break the law, but TriMet can? How can we continue to tell? How can I continue to tell my membership that, you know what, go to work and be a professional when we're being attacked daily? We have over 2,000 people within this organization. We took the top 7 and talked about it. We have their personal information that's out there. We recognize that TriMet's a public entity. We understand that information at some point is going to get out. But do you think it's really appropriate that we put the names of our members first and last out there? We have ongoing issues as we've had the assaults that have continued to rise. We continue to have a problem. We want TriMet to stand up and start supporting the hardworking individuals that make this system run. I will say that we've had some preliminary conversations with Neil and Shelley, and at this point in time has not produced anything that we can move forward on. I'm hopeful. I'm going to continue to move forward, but we're not going away. We're going to be at every board meeting. Maybe we'll stop off at your guys' work locations. Maybe we need to start sending the message that we are not going to put up with it. We are professionals, but there's only so much we can take. If you continue to break the law, it's hard for our membership to continue to tell them they need to. Every time we get somebody terminated here, they lose their job. It is time for this board to start looking at the actions of this leadership on what do we do next. Because I'm telling you, the relationship is broke. It's been broke for quite some time. There is not a labor relations director. If you do not put the emphasis on trying to get to the table, trying not to resolve the issue peacefully, what is the outcome? I am in a corner right now, and I have nothing to do but ruin your day, because mine's being ruined. Thank you.
With respect to safety, perhaps you missed my statement at the beginning that the board does intend to hold management accountable and have expectations that we clearly laid out. So, starting
Mr. Chairman,
now.
with all due respect,
if
we
Jonathan,
don't follow the collective bargaining agreement that speaks that both parties, it is not just your responsibility, it is not just TriMet Management's responsibility, it is all of our responsibility on safety. If you don't bring us to the table, if you don't listen to our concerns, all you're going to do is get a whitewashed version. And
Jonathan, I understand that. Okay, I understand that. I made a very strong statement. I made a very strong statement at the beginning of this session that everybody heard in this room. We are going to hold management accountable for improved safety now. All right? Got that? That's it. Thank you for your testimony. That is all.
Because what's going to happen next?
That is all. Jonathan, you're dismissed. You're done.
Mr. Chair.
You're done.
I am not done, sir, and I will continue to speak on the issue until I am carted out of this room. You need to have respect for our membership, and you need to understand that making a statement is